Hello everyone, my name is Fernanda Costa dos Santos Wittrich, in short Fernanda Wittrich. I have my neighbor here. I was born in Brazil and there I studied science and communication, public relations, business, and then I was a teacher at the university for these subjects. And I also worked in a private company, General Motors, but always human development and trainings, intercultural communication. Then 12 years ago I decided to move to Europe and I studied at Vienna University, science and communication as well. At that time I had to learn to restart, suddenly not to speak too much with hands and start to be maybe polite. And yes, I live every day the changes in the meaning of the cultural communication. Sometimes I have the feeling that multicultural communication, sometimes intercultural communication, so learning by doing. I'm a PhD student at University of Vienna, and my theme is journalism and credibility. I'm here because of my paper about the role of the media in post-crisis societies that I did in Bosnia and Herzegovina with a colleague from Kosovo and from Austria. So many cultures to talk about the role of the media. And I'm also a lecturer for psychology of communication at the University of Applied Science in Frankfurt in Switzerland. Yes, it's my first time here. So business, communication, public relations, marketing, consumer behavior, there are areas that I'm confident to talk about and to learn more and to exchange and review.
Good morning, my name is Janine Siebel, and I would say, much like our colleague here from Pakistan and India, I originate from a family from different cultures and different languages, obviously, with that, and different religions. But my parents were very forerunning in their thinking, very forerunning, and my dad and his business 40 years ago did the first international deal, if you will. So fast forward to myself, my husband was associated with the government, and we lived many places around the world, which is a very humbling experience and suffering experience. I have taught every grade, kindergarten through graduate school, so that has given me an interdisciplinary sensibility, if you will. I need more sense, though, more wisdom on that. My field runs from consumer behavior, consumer economics, to every science, physics, chemistry, and biology. And right now they are a conglomerate in teaching anatomy and physiology, which my passion right now is to see this become an advanced placement course, a college board advanced placement option in high school. It is not that as of yet. And so it is the fundamental, always bringing together of biology, chemistry, and physics in the anatomy and physiology discipline. And that's my little story.
You are a Renaissance person. Are you sure you didn't was born in the 14th century?
I might
We are needing to get to a 14th century again.
I might add that I teach at a school face-to-face 65 nations. So this is my joy and privilege to be here.
Thank you.
Good morning. I am Gabriela Villanova from National Patagonia Austral University. It's located on the south of Argentina. I am professor at the university in computer science, software engineering, and modeling and design software area. I'm a head of research and project in computer science and in virtual environment education. We have a different experience at the university. When I in PhD studies as a student with different national programs with Brazilian people, with German and teachers from Romanian teachers came to our country. And in a virtual environment, we have a master's degree, and we have experience with people, but in Spanish language, not with different language. So the students are from different countries of South America. We have an agreement with different organizations like United Nations from Macau and from Spain, and in different research programs. So we are very interested in working because we are very far from a different place in Argentina, and we need to collaborate in a multidisciplinary way with people with experience in different areas. So it's very nice to be here.
Yeah, my name is Tomáš Zelinka, and I am also representative of Europe. I'm larger. Our country is larger than Switzerland, not much, because I'm from the Czech Republic, and it's a country of 10 million inhabitants, so we are larger than Austria. We are well, but we have got one disadvantage, because when Europe was split after the Second War, we were on the wrong side. So I spent 40 years in communist regime, and that's not very good experience for globalization. You know, we were locked in the country, we were not allowed to travel, we were not allowed to communicate effectively enough with the rest of the world. I'm not complaining, I'm saying that it was so. But our education was not bad, and we were able to do a science. My science was physics, and I spent 20 years in Academy of Sciences, and it was not bad. Then came the changes, political changes, thanks God, and we appeared in the global world. And I wanted to use it as effectively as possible, so I joined global telecommunication business. And I was working for quite a few years at a company called Global One. They wanted to show that they are global, and they were appearing in 125 countries in the world, all continents, everywhere. And we used to travel all around, and we had a project together, and we were working closely together, doing a business. In this area, it was quite hard business. It was a very difficult time from the time consumption, etc., etc. But it was a great change for me from that locked country. We had only 3 hours by train to Austria, but it was a different world. We had 1.5 an hour to travel to Nuremberg, but it was a border between us. We were not allowed to. So now everything was possible, everything changed, and we were able to do it, and we enjoyed it, and we were doing a lot of very, very global businesses and projects generally. After 20 years in business, I was a little bit tired, so I decided to come back to academic work, and I became a professor at the Technical University in Prague with the aim and with the idea to teach technical discipline in a way as a part of the business and global business. So my students have to know much more, not only about mathematical background and all of that, that's definitely necessary as well, but to understand it from the business point of sight, understand it from the globalization point of sight, multidisciplines, etc., etc. So we are more and more engaged now in such areas like smart cities, for instance, because it's a very smart world, smart planet. These are disciplines that are very global, very open for globalization, very open for understanding the world as one area of the business and of the living. And as I'm getting older and older, I'm adding one additional dimension, which is a social point of view. To understand that all of what this is about should be for people, should be for human beings, which is not true. Most of the business is done for business. Most of the activities in the world are not induced by interest to improve the life, are aimed to generate a profit. And that's what we are trying to change, that's what we are trying, well, we will not change it, but at least to point it and to say, this should be changed at least a little bit. And this is what is nowadays what are nowadays our activities. I will point it also in a plenary session where I would like to show that it should be at least balanced. Economic one, environmentalist activities, the other important activity definitely, and then it's about human being, it's about citizens in city, that they should profit of it as well. And we have to know how to do it. We have to understand that it's a soft science. It's nothing we can write, we can calculate, but we have to speak face to face to them, etc., etc. So it's a new dimension. I'm just now coming back, and I really enjoy it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bolivar. I'm a research associate at Science to Business Marketing Research Center in Münster, Germany. Originally, I come from Kazakhstan, so that's why I can truly understand your pain every time I have to explain where it is. However, in comparison with Latvia, Kazakhstan is a huge country in the Central Asia. Yes, I did my bachelor there, and then I moved to Germany to do my master, and now I'm currently doing my PhD in university business collaboration, which is itself quite intercultural thing, because if we look at this from the perspective of culture, so that is a totally different corporate cultures. And what I'm researching right now is the intercultural differences across the countries. How can they affect this collaboration with between universities, all of the types, higher educational institutions, and businesses. Besides that, we are also working on many different projects, and back to your topic, we are creating right now an e-leadership academy for the trainers in order to show them how to train trainers in e-leadership strategic skills. That is another point. And yes, back to the topic interculturality. So I'm working every day in a very small but very multicultural environment with colleagues from more than 10 different countries. And I personally believe that interculturality and multidisciplinarity is a good thing. So I think that, as we say, innovation occurs in the intersection. And all of the synergies that we can get while collaborating with people from different cultures, from different disciplines, will, at the end of the day, give us a big advantage to produce something new knowledge. Well, thank you.
Good morning, you all. I'm from Brazil. My name is Ivo. I'm just ended my undergraduation degree in telecommunications engineering, and I'm about to start a master's degree in telecommunications also. And about the intercultural experience, well, I have lived in New York for a year doing an exchange program, and after that, I guess this conference will be my biggest intercultural experience. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Hi everybody, my name is Ricardo. I'm from Brazil too. I worked as a traffic controller for 10 years, and I have been working as a air traffic manager for 10 years too. And I have a degree in mathematics, a degree in air traffic management, and a specialization in electromagnetic analysis, and I am finishing a computer science master program. So I'm here to present an article about operational research and command and control facilities, and about multicultural experience. Sometimes it is difficult to manage or put skilled people to work together. Pilots, controllers, meteorologists, engineers, and psychologists are some professionals that work in the air traffic control environment. And all of them has different cultures, different vocabulary, different languages, and engineers, meteorologists, pilots, controllers has different limitations to develop their jobs. So sometimes they argue, and a part of my job is to solve these problems, to keep the work flowing, the traffic flowing with safe. And aviation is a global issue now. United Nations is in charge to keep aviation global in all of the world, and so, and in my opinion, they are doing a great job since 1945, 48 about these duties. And I guess it's all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello everybody, my name is Nagib Callaos. I'm from Germany, and I work at the Horne Institute for Electronics, Systematics and Image Exploitation in Germany. I've been working there for 7 years, and while I've been working there, I've been getting my master's degree in computer science. During my studies, I've been doing an internship in Japan. But I wouldn't say that I suffered during the time. I've been learning the language and also the culture before I went there. But still, it was a really mind-opening experience to get to know another culture that's completely different from your own, and to see not only the huge differences, but also the similarities that the culture has. And the aspect of interdisciplinary communication, where I work, we develop software for different users to exchange data and also to exploit information from images. And so they have their own domain, their technical domain, their own business domain. And in order to understand what they need, what they want, we have to learn that domain, we have to learn their language. Even though they speak the same language, also English or German, their vocabulary is totally different, and we have to deal with that. And yeah, I think that's where I'm suffering a little bit from time to time.
You know, Gerald Weinberg said 25, 30 years ago, that any computer scientist or computer engineer or information system engineer working in a different domain got to have at least the level of a master in that domain in order to make a good job in information system. So if you are working in financial information system, you have to teach yourself at least a level of a master in finance in order to have a common language with the users. And that was said about 25, 30 years ago, but no one is paying attention to it. Well, not no one. Few people are paying attention to that kind of thing, that they have to learn the other language and not to expect the user to learn the computers. You see what I mean? Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. My name is Jorge Barres. I'm a professor and researcher at the University of Southern Patagonia in Argentina. My field originally is safety and health. I teach and researcher in economics, physical economics, organizational economics, and cognitive economics. Share some themes with the colleague related to the complex system. Related to intercultural experience, I was that experience at the industry when I work at industry related with other colleagues of different parts of the world, the relation to the vision, the hazards, the risks of the world. But the most strong intercultural experience was 2 years ago when I, for the first time, participated at this Congress, and Professor Nagib talked to us that kind of concept. You know? And every year when I came here, I try to learn more about the intercultural. This kind of table is an example of that. But related to interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary subjects, actually now I am called the director of a project relating to know the problem of the complex system to the population of the worker. For example, in my field on economics, try to find some things to generate complicated to the people. Now I finished my master's degree in education in virtual environment. I try to share these kind of things, the point of view of psychological, sociological, instructional design in the education, and try to mix all.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stuart, and I come from the Federal Research Institute of Rural Areas, Forestry and Fishery in Germany, and I'm a forestry man. I'm the head of the Department of Forest Ecology. We have made tasks. First, we have scientific investigations under the conditions of global change and an increase of extreme weather conditions. And so we need the strategy for risk management for future forests. A farmer said it was a bad year. The forestryman said it was bad 100 years. And so we need an idea for a risk management in future forests. Second, we have to bring together the different interests. First, the interest for national forests, to increase national forests. And second, the interest of timber production. A lot of people have to live in future forests from timber production. Very important. But we need a strategy to bring together the interest and go to the same direction. And at present time, the German forest has not grown. And we do the strategy to bring the interest of forest to society and to the normal people. So it's a good work, and it's not a work, it's a life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Bruce Peoples. I live here in the Orlando area down at Kissimmee, Florida, not far from Disney World. And I want you all to know that I'm a recent PhD person from Paris University, just a little bit north of Paris. And I'm just very proud to be here, my first conference as a PhD. Now, learning, education, and training has always been important to me throughout my whole life. Most of my inventions that I've done, most of the work I've done is learning, education, and training related. And this globalization for academics is a very important conference. And part of my expertise is information technology for learning, education, and training. I'm chair emeritus of an ISO standards committee, ISO IEC Joint Technical Committee 1, Subcommittee 36, Learning Information Technology for Learning Education and Training. We've been producing standards for over 14 years now for information technology for learning, education, and training. It's very good work. I still participate. As chair emeritus, they passed a resolution. I can still participate, make contributions, and make comments and everything. They just had a meeting recently, last month, in Prague, Czechoslovakia, and they do have a new working group 8 for learning analytics. And it's a natural progression. We do have a global need for analytics for learning, education, and training. Not just for the student, though, but for the systems that's also implement learning, education, and training. Now, when it comes to pain for cultural issues, I can tell you as a chair emeritus, cultural issues have very multiple levels of context. It's just not a social thing. It's also a professional thing. And if you ever want a good experience, try to lead a subcommittee consisting of professional academics, professional software engineers, professional systems engineers, and politicians. You do have those. And sometimes you have to work really diligent to alleviate things. I'm looking forward to further discussion in this workshop. Like I said, learning, education, and training is very important to me throughout my life. And I hope that everybody starts recognizing the value of international standards, especially for information technology for learning, education, and training. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all very much for these fascinating biographies and expressions of interest. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I just noticed that.
Go ahead.
So my name is Chris Yakumishin. I've got experience in big corporations like GE and ABB and startup companies that are venture capital and bootstrapped and academics. So I've seen several sides of the same coin. I guess in terms of multicultural activity and exposure, my experiences at ABB was probably the most broad. I had engineering projects. I'm an electrical engineer, PhD, and I had projects in Switzerland, Germany, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Italy, while being part of ABB, which is a global company. So it was very interesting trying to interact with the people from different countries all under the same umbrella of ABB. But ABB was, at that time at least, not a global corporation that all worked in the same direction. It was more of a loose affiliation of a couple of thousand business units all competing to some level or another with each other. So the meetings that we had where we were trying to come to a consensus on directions for technology in the area that I was working in required that the business units also agreed as to who had what access to which part of which market in other parts of the world. So it was very interesting. And I'm here to learn.
Hello, Nagib. It's good to see you again. So I'm Tom Hall. We're actually going to do a workshop today at 2 o'clock. But in terms of my background, I've been in technology management. But I've actually been in information technology for 31 years now, but in technology management for the past 20 years, primarily in the United States. So it's been a great run here. I've gotten to know a lot of people from all parts of the world now. And just a little bit of background. So I came from New York City, which I was at Pace University, a very international university in New York City. 5 campuses, a law school, business school, and so forth. I came down and started a new university here in Central Florida called Florida Polytechnic University, which was the 12th university in the state system of Florida. And the goal there was to create a STEM-based institution and a tech corridor between Orlando and Tampa, again, focused on STEM, in order to help sort of change the Florida economy from just citrus growing and travel and leisure to more technology industry, because everybody recognizes the Silicon Valley economic business model and wants to participate in that. So one of the opportunities we saw was something that we're going to talk about is 3D printing and the technology associated with 3D printing, which is a design methodology all the way to a printed object, and how that's made its way into academia and education and courses and so forth. So hopefully you'll get a chance to contribute to that discussion this afternoon. That's at 2 o'clock, and we look forward to seeing you at that point.
And I would say he created the largest lab of its kind in 3D printing and technology here in Florida. It's the largest one, not just in Florida, but in the States. So he will be in charge of the workshop on 3D, and that table is for him. He's going to make some demonstration on the table. So.
My name is Logan Leiker. I'm part of the workshop here, more as a tag along than a speaker. I have some experience teaching under Professor Holt's mentorship in 3D design, and I would like to have as well as mathematics and music. But I think 3D design is one of the languages that can be spoken throughout the world. I also have experience teaching online. I've taught for 2 years online, Calculus 1, Calculus 2, Calculus 3, as well as some lower level maths. And one of the things that's really brought me is understanding how to visualize and express the ideas rather than in words, as most of the communication online was via chat, which was very, very slow, to try to use pictures and diagrams to communicate ideas rather than specific words. I think we mentioned as part of the technology here, the tutoring I've done was for all of the Americas. So when I was discussing with a Spanish student, I don't speak very much Spanish, and it's very difficult to communicate outside of just the maths and the design and the images I was able to come up with. It really stressed the importance to me of finding those universal languages like that, and so that we can share our ideas rather than being bound by language, by our limitations.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sally, and I'm here from Grenada in Caribbean. I must say, yes, I am here for 2 things. I'm here with my family. Here to enjoy a little bit of the parks and so a little entertainment mixed with So I thought I'd just throw in the conference. This is my first attendance to this type of conference. I've been to many conferences before, but never to this one, so I'm looking forward to it. I work in Grenada with the medical school, St. George's University. I worked there for 12 years as a software support and trader. My background, I have degrees in computer science and mathematics. I also teach math at lower level. Just getting some interesting news from this guy next to me. I'll be speaking to him later on. We're moving to online, so I'll be interested in seeing how we do the online teaching of math. We still, the school is pretty big, but we're still working towards the online aspect, so that will be interesting. And in terms of cultural, I work, because we support, I work on a team of 6 persons doing software support, and we support like 6,000 students and about 750 faculty. And these are persons from the students. We support students from as many as 140 countries, as well as faculty from probably about 40 or 50 countries. So we have a lot to do in terms of, we do have that challenge of understanding and working with, especially those faculty that we train from the various cultures. So we continuously getting used to that. What else? Yeah, so here I am from the Caribbean, as I said. I know some of you probably, I don't know, maybe you've been to the Caribbean, but usually when people come up to me, they're like, are you from Jamaica? So, you know, but this is Grenada, not Jamaica. It's a very small island, way down south, just above Trinidad, actually. So those of you are familiar with
I'm from Venezuela, that's why I'm familiar with you.
Oh,
okay.
Alright, so that's it for me.
Well, I'm Abigail. I'm in charge of the Bachelor of Physics in the University of Guadalajara in Mexico. So just now we have 2 goals to the students and to the Bachelor of Physics career. One of them is the multicultural formation. We try that our students have at least one exchange experience during the 4 years that they are in the physics career. And the other one is the interdisciplinary. They have to go really bad and to work with other disciplines like chemistry, medicine, or anyone, computing science, I don't know. So that's why I'm here. I'm trying to learn something, and if I can share something with you, I will be glad. So that's all.
Hello, my name is Laura Lescano. I came from Argentina with the Patagonia group, and I am a master's student, and I research about learning in virtual environments. Sorry, but my English for talk is so good, but I can understand that you say. That's it.
Good morning. My name is Iveta Kremeneva. I am from Slovak Republic. Slovak Republic was for 23 years one part of from Czechoslovakia.
Much more.
I'm from University of Žilina. From Žilina, the university has 7 faculties. And our faculty is Faculty of Operation and Economy, Transport and Communication, and I'm from Department of Communication. And this is my PhD student, and she told more.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Teresia. I'm a PhD student of the Department of Communications and Faculty and University. We are from a small town, Žilina, in the Czech Republic. Slovak is a small country in Central Europe, East Europe. My PhD thesis is about the usability of website, so web interfaces. I propose the methodology how to evaluate it, and about the topic of multicultural and communication. We are a small university. There are not a lot of international students, but there are some from Turkey, Poland, and small countries in Europe. And I also use one opportunity. I'm an Erasmus student, so I have internship in Ireland. So it's good that we have programs like Erasmus in Europe, that we can travel and study in other universities, and we can help this international multicultural experience. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Luis Velasquez Araque. I'm also from Venezuela, like Professor Nagib Callaos. And for me, it's a great opportunity every time I come to this type of conference for two things. The first one is that it's a interdisciplinary conference. So it gives you the opportunity to share not only with your field of scope, but with much others. And the second one is because it's a world conference. So for example, I have the opportunity to see Professor Jelinka, which is from Czech Republic, the place where I lived for 4 years. And now I'm meeting people from Slovak Republic. So it's wonderful to find a place where we all can be from different countries. I have a PhD in thermodynamics and fluid dynamics. And I also have the place of founding a laboratory in my hometown in San Cristobal, Venezuela. And it was so wonderful that you can have an idea and you can convert it into a reality, but not in a moment. You have to work on it for a long time. But the good thing of this is that if you have a goal and then you work hard for that, you can convert it into a reality. And we are also going to have a workshop today at 4:30, I think, with Professor Tremante and also with Dr. Manganielli. And yeah, well, so I also would like to say hello, and I hope that we're going to have a good time sharing information, sharing findings, research projects, and also sharing cultures. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Nadia Escobar. I come from Colombia, from a beautiful city called Cartagena. I think this meeting is a good opportunity to interchange knowledge and experiences. I teach my students how to write and how to read and how to write many things because it's very important in communication. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning for all. My name is Daniel Beatano Segura. I'm from Colombia, in the Casillas Meta, Colombia. My research is parametric mathematics. Is a model or method for building figures, mathematics, but now is design software of mathematics by education. Other research, but yeah, is education. I work in the juniors with engineering, and well, my English is more or less. my first in this country. I very nice with you.
My name is Mark Xu, and I'm from University of Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. And I'm a developer and also a solution architect of the platform of e-learning platform for entrepreneurship education. And I got my bachelor and my master from Taiwan. And I remember that the first 22 years of my life, I didn't really expose myself under kind of a multicultural environment. In my memory, I didn't even meet or talk some people who speak English, or very seldom. So, and after graduating from master, I moved to Canada. And the first year in language school, I met people from everywhere, from Japan, Korean, Mexican, Canada, France, Argentina, and Iran. Then very soon I realized one thing is that the cultural differences even like appear in language, because the Asian people tend to show their respect in their language, but not for people from Europe or America. Just give you an example. Like I'm from Taiwan, so I speak Mandarin. So we have a particular term to call people who are in a higher year of you are in. So for example, if I'm the freshman, I'm a first year student, I have used that special term to call the people in the second year or third year or even fourth year students. This is just, we get the use of that. We just feel comfortable to use those terms to call people. But in America, there's no such term. I couldn't find these words to describe. So I would say John, Mark, and hey Mary. I don't put that particular term. Actually, I can't find that term in front of that person's name. But there's still a place I would say like Professor Dog. That's the only place I show my respect. This doesn't mean like we don't respect each other, but just the differences, we can see the differences in language in different culture. But this is not a good thing or bad thing, just it's good to understand about the differences, and then we can find another way to work together. So I'm very excited to find more differences in different culture in terms of education in this conference. So thank you.
Good morning, my name is Maria Cristina Costa. I'm from Brazil. I'm a professor of University of São Paulo, and I work in arts and communication. I'm a sociologist, and I'm the coordinator of a big group of teachers, students, and researchers that study freedom of speech. And we use internet and networks in order to follow what occurs in the other countries. And I'm here to explain how we use this in human science field. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Marco Lara Gracia. I'm originally from Mexico. Speaking of global experience, I was fortunate to get my PhD from Purdue University, which is one of the most international universities in the United States. I still remember the first day when I arrived. Everything was wow for me, but I'm coming from a very small town in Mexico, Tampico. But it wasn't the building or the cars, but the people. Like you mentioned, all of a sudden I was speaking with someone from a different religion. I love soccer, and I was playing soccer with in the intramural tournament with students from Bangladesh, from India. So it was from, like Raul mentioned about this conference is great. It's my 5th year. I look forward to continue attending, and what I like is the multidisciplinary, aspect of the conference. I'm seeing people from other countries is very, I really like that. I also work in Mexico for the company Cemex, manufacturer of cement and concrete. Is perhaps the most international and global company in Mexico. It was great. I want to mention that my research interests are also focused on globalization. I'm focused on the economic impact of the Panama Canal, expansion of the Panama Canal in the US. And I'm also focused on cross-border commerce that, according to the gurus in this topic, you know, it's beyond e-commerce. You know, cross-border commerce has to do with the commerce between countries, and it's growing and growing and growing and growing, especially reflected here in the United States. So thank you so much, and I look forward to the conference.
Thank you. Just before continuing, Jeremy.
I'm the odd person out here. I got a little bit late. I thought it was at 10. Anyway, I have a tendency to live in the clouds, but looking at the interdisciplinary and cultural perspectives, you'll see some stuff coming up Friday and then later this afternoon. I guess I take it for granted. I started off my bachelor's in international affairs. Some people Washington, D.C. family. My mother slaved away at the Labor Department for 20 years, and you just kind of get used to it. And I guess it's in my life right now. I am on the next status for natives. I don't know where I live anymore. I live in San Felipe, Mexico, and I've lived in several places in Mexico over the years. And I just kind of take it for granted. I don't see how people can not be intercultural, not interdisciplinary. I just don't see how that can happen. My background's in philosophy, that's right, degree. And it's dialectic. You'll learn more about that. There's a reason why I'm wearing blue. We have a long-standing joke about this. About blue. You see two different shades. I'll explain that later. I was the President-emeritus of the American Association of Advancement of Science. I don't know what you actually get with that. Again, just taking things for granted. I should, like you and I have a conversation on the IEEE fiber optic technical advisory. I kind of pat myself on the back. And all this stuff kind of just take it for granted. Right now, I'm the CEO of the Veterans Assistance League, people all over the world, I guess. And I just don't see how you can get along without being intercultural, interdisciplinary. I just take a snatch from every piece, and of course in philosophy, you've got people